Welcome to Viking Spotlight. This is a podcast about people, events, and projects in the North Canton City School District. I'm your host, Jeff Wendorf. Today we have a pleasure of talking with Tim Walker, our Director of Development and Special Projects. Thanks for joining us today, Tim.
Well, thank you for the invitation. It's good to be with you again.
A repeat performance.
Yes.
All right, good. Well, a little bit going on with some projects in the district that I know you're heading up and coordinating, and along with your other duties in development, but wanted to talk today a little bit about the exciting project of Memorial Stadium. And I think folks that were at our game last week saw a legacy landing, an H, and some other things popped up there. But tell us a little bit about what the Memorial Stadium means. And it's always been called North Canton Memorial Stadium, but unless you go to a certain spot, you don't know much about it unless you were around when it was implemented and named and stuff. Tell us about Memorial Stadium.
Well, Legacy Landing is an opportunity for us in keeping with kind of the goals of the Legacy campaign of remembering our past and looking to the future. It's an opportunity for us to honor some folks who have been instrumental in the community of North Canton, to honor some folks who have participated in the Legacy campaign and helped to make the projects that we're doing over there possible. And so there's pavers that are all around in that area that folks have purchased and that have given money to the project. And then there's a big H, block H, that's kind of sits in the center of the Legacy Landing. And that block H is significant, and it has the Hertler Field project, and the people who gave to that is on one side, along with a plaque that honor Coach Hertler Sr. and his wife. And so we're excited about that. But then right in the middle of the H is a plaque that has been part of Memorial Stadium for a really long time. It's just something that most people didn't know anything about. And it's about a 300-pound granite plaque that was down at the south entrance for many years. And with the bus garage renovation, we have taken down some of the south entrance. But that plaque has 26 men and women from North Canton who died during World War II. And it's the basis for why it's named North Canton Memorial Stadium. And that plaque honors those folks, and again, it's just now in a much more prominent place near the front entrance of the stadium, and an opportunity for people to reflect. And if you have spent any time in North Canton, you will undoubtedly recognize some of the last names on that plaque, and they are family names and longtime members of the community, or some of the folks who lost their lives during World War II. And so it's a really cool way for us to remember why it's called Memorial Stadium, but also to honor those people who gave their lives for our country back in that time. And that happened, obviously, the stadium was built in 1947, so right on the heels of World War II, and that was very fresh in everyone's mind, right. Certainly at that time.
Yeah, great. It's a great connection with our kids and lessons for our kids to see about heroism and North Canton residents, and make that tie to some of those names that even they may know.
Absolutely, so, absolutely. And it's really significant. I was able to go back, and there was an article written back in 2007 at the 60-year anniversary of Memorial Stadium, and two of the young men who played on the 1947 team, the first team that ever played at Memorial Stadium, Jack Sponseller and Bill Owens, who are both in our Hall of Fame. But those two gentlemen talked about in this interview how much it meant to them and how significant it was to play in that stadium, who had been named to remember their brothers and sisters and family members who had fought in the war, and then also certainly those who were part of that plaque and didn't make it home from the war.
Sure. At the time, pretty tight. Well, it's still a tight-knit community, but a much smaller community at the time, and everybody knows everybody, but especially then.
Absolutely.
And, that's interesting. So good. Well, Legacy Landing provides an opportunity for us to honor other individuals who've contributed to the Hoover High School and the district. Tell us a little bit about Legacy Landing and what that represents.
So last fall, when we were beginning the project of the grandstand renovation and so forth, we decided to sell some pavers. That there are 8x8 pavers that are sold that are available for $500 each, and we went through kind of our first round until about the end of December last year, and sold about 130 pavers. And so a number of people purchased one that they could put their names or their family names or whatever they chose on those pavers. And then in addition to that, we also have some larger 24-inch by 24-inch limestone pavers that are mixed into that landscape as well. And those pavers are honor people who've given $10,000 up to about $50,000. So that's the folks in that category. And so again, we have several. We have more that have already sold that we haven't even had a chance to get them printed out yet and get them installed. And
it's
so
just
we're
a few
excited
weeks
about
old,
that.
isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just a few weeks old. So we're excited about that, and folks coming along decide to participate. But then on the right side of that H, of the block H, will also be similar to how we have the Hertler Field donors listed on the left side. On the right side will be people who have given to the Legacy campaign at a level of $50,000 or more. And we haven't had several people who have donated at different levels as part of the Legacy campaign, and we'll have an opportunity to recognize those folks as well. And all of this funding is kind of coming together as part of the Memorial Stadium renovation and what we hope to be doing with the grandstand here at the end of the football season.
Right, good. So we've got the stadium renovation, which is basically a rebuild of the home stands and cover. We've got Hertler Field, which just got new turf. Mm-hmm. I know there's some other projects going on at what we call the 7th Street athletic facilities, but tell us about what in the last, say, 12 months has happened across the street there for our kids and our fans.
Yeah, well, as you said, the turf at Don Hertler Senior Field, the main football field, was replaced this summer, and so we're excited about that. It's brand new turf, and we got about 11 years out of our former turf, and now we're able to replace that, and that's looks great. And had our first home game, and it was a win on this last
Undefeated.
Friday. So that's undefeated on the new turf, so that's a good thing. But we also were able to over at the soccer lacrosse stadium, or what we call Hoover Stadium. We were able to install new LED lights this summer, and that's another great project. It's not only helpful for our athletes and for the teams that participate on those fields, but also it's an amazing difference in terms of how bright it is on the field. And at the same time, if you drive down 7th Street or Wise Avenue when there's a game, you barely know there are lights on. And so it's a really good thing for our entire community. And so we were able to make those changes over there as part of that complex and part of those. And then, as soon as the season is over, our plan right now, as you mentioned, is to tear down the grandstand and all of the home side and to rebuild that. And so we're excited about that and the opportunities that will provide. And then hopefully, if our fundraising continues to go well, we'll be able to also have a new scoreboard and video board in place in Memorial Stadium before next football season.
Great. So that rebuild of Memorial Stadium is handicap accessibility, handrails, a much more fan-friendly place for those of us in the upper age brackets, we'll say. But that'll be great. And a little bit bigger press box, I believe, in the back and so on. So, yeah, that's very cool. And how do folks get a hold of the Legacy Landing opportunities if they wanted to have a brick or even a $50,000 brick in?
That's
or a less expensive
or a less expensive one. Yes, all of those opportunities are available. If you go to our website, hoovervikings.com, you can see the grandstand, the Legacy campaign for the new grandstand. And there's opportunities on there. You can actually purchase a paver online if you choose, or there's ways that you can reach out. My email address is on there as well. And for folks who would like to give a little bit bigger dollar amount, there's all that information there, as well as pledge cards and different opportunities to get involved. So we have a whole master plan. You can see the whole master plan for the athletic facility and what all that entails. All of those things are available right on our website, hoovervikings.com.
So any dollar amounts, they have different ranges for big to small, and whether it's for an individual, for a family representative, or even for a business, and or in honor of. So great way to show support for our kids and our programs, and also participate in that Legacy Landing and Memorial Stadium. That's a great thing. I wanted to go back a little bit. We have new turf on the high school on Don Hertler Field, and just a couple years old on the soccer lacrosse at the Hoover Field. Tell us about how that changed. You were an athletic director, coach for a long, long time. What does athletic turf do for our opportunities for kids?
Well, we unfortunately are fairly landlocked from a school district standpoint in terms of the property that we have. And so one of our goals in stewarding what we do have and using it to the best of our ability as a school district is to maximize the opportunities for our young people. And so to give you an example, when we had the soccer field was just a grass field, and it was one of the best in Stark County. It was an unbelievable field. It was a great space. It was lighted, and so we could obviously play there at any hours. of the day, but we would use that field approximately 80 hours a year, and that was because we only used it for soccer matches, and that was to protect it, to make it look nice, and so on and so forth. That same space now can be used 80 hours a week, and it's got turf on it, and really the turf does not wear out based upon use, and so we have lights on that field, and we can use it all hours of the day and use it multiple times. And so again, even from a student-athlete safety perspective, that's allowed us to bring more student-athletes on campus for practices and not have them walking to off-site facilities to practice. Those things all help create a safer environment for our kids. And so the usage with turf is so much greater, and it really allows us to be able to use it for multiple different sports and to really maximize the space that we have here. So it's a great thing, and we think our kids love playing on it, and it's been a great addition to the stadium complex over there.
Sure, great, and opportunity for rentals.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's definitely revenue generation, and people are always looking for more space and more field space. And when it's grass, it's hard to do that because you're worried about protecting it all the time.
Right.
But when it's turf, you're a little bit more. It's a little bit easier for us to rent that out.
Right. It's good stuff, and it helps kids by being able to get them into practice times and more square footage of turf. The better opportunity for practice times that don't keep them late in the evenings and so on. So yeah, great efficiency there. Good. Well, and we mentioned the lights at Hoover Stadium, at Hoover Field, and those lights are better. They're higher technology, as you said. They're LEDs, but they're also higher. We found that lacrosse balls and low lights don't mix very well, and to be lost in the lights. But that's certainly a great opportunity for a lacrosse team to have those new lights in, and they look fantastic.
Absolutely, and it will definitely help, and as is the case with all of our projects, we try to make it so that multiple teams benefit, and certainly the soccer program is going to love having that field that is well lit, and the lacrosse kids as well, when they look across and aren't looking into another bank of lights that's
right.
With that little ball flying at you, that will definitely be a benefit.
Yeah. Great. And your projects are primarily not school funded, not tax-based funded, and you do a lot of work in that. That's the other part of your job, and to make sure that those are done, and you've done a fantastic job with that. But we sure appreciate our donors and our families and our community and our businesses that support these projects to make our 7th Street facilities awesome, first class, and we very much appreciate our partnerships with them.
Absolutely, and we have an unbelievably generous community, and when you bring people who are not from around here to our facilities and you tell them what we're able to do with non-tax dollars, most people are blown away just by the generosity of our community, and it really varies. It's everything from retired school teachers to fairly recent graduates of Hoover High School to big businesses to folks in all different walks of life. And so it's really been fun to see our community come together to make some of these things possible for our kids.
Yeah, great. Anything else about Legacy Landing you want to tell us about?
Nope, just that if anyone would like to participate, there are still definitely opportunities, and so we will sell the pavers probably until the end of football season, around the end of October. We'll sell another run of pavers that will be installed probably sometime in the spring, and so there's still time to get involved if you'd like to have your name there, and we're excited about that project and think it will continue. We will, when it's all done, there will also be a turf space kind of right behind that, where there's currently just some grass that will have a big Viking head and so forth as well. So I would say Legacy Landing is probably 70% done or something like that. Sure. So we still have some more work to do, but we're excited about it.
It looks very nice. Encourage folks to come and visit us and come to an event, whether it's soccer or football right now. And out there, it's a very nice, first class, well done piece. Thank you very much for your leadership in that. Yeah.
It's a privilege to serve.
Anything else you want to talk about as far as future projects or anything?
Well, we just are, again, a lot of our time and attention right now is focused on the grandstand project and trying to get that going. And so hopefully, we'll have that rolling right after the football season. And then there's these 2 big elementary schools going up too that are publicly funded.
And a transportation building.
So there's a lot of projects out there right now and a lot of great things happening in our school district. And it's a really fun time to be part of that.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot going on right now. A lot of steel going up, a lot of block. That creates a another message that we can send is with the transportation, the bus garage center going up, we did have to move some parking, and just keep an eye on social media and other at VikingAthletics.com for parking announcements and so on. It worked out great last week with our home game and not too many issues. So, but with our other games coming up, that we could have a little bigger crowd. So just keep an eye on communications from athletics on that piece. But well, we appreciate you and what you do, and always have you on the podcast when you like for updates, and maybe we'll have Hammond Construction or Sol Harris Day on with you to talk about some of the neat things that they're going to start seeing at the building sites.
That would be great. Those projects are flying right now, it feels like, so that's good.
They sure are. And we've had great weather. So the excuse for weather, and our steel's here, so it doesn't look like the supply is pinching us too bad right now. But right now we're on track.
Absolutely.
So, yep, good. Well, thank you, and thank our listeners for joining us today. We very much appreciate you hearing this. Share this out if you can. The podcast is a great way for us to share information about the district with our residents and families and our community. If you have questions or ideas, complaints, suggestions, other than a new host, we'll take all but that one. But just let us know if you can. Just email us with questions, ideas, or so on. We want to communicate in the best way we can. Just let us know at our Viking Spotlight at northcantonschools.org. That's our email address, Viking Spotlight at northcantonschools.org. Also, welcome your thoughts on future podcasts, who you might like to have on, what you might like to know about the district or community. Next week, we'll be talking to our Hoover High School senior class president, Costa Volas. He's impressed our faculty. He gave last week at convocation, he gave a staff address to welcome our faculty and staff to about 600 adults. And a senior in high school talking to adults is rather unnerving. And he should have done the whole thing and made the superintendent sit down, because he was fantastic. He's just a great guy, a great kid, and we look forward to having Costas on next week for us, and I think you'll enjoy it too. So talk to you next week, and as always, thanks for listening, and go Vikings.